Ja, hallo, hallöchen Leute, willkommen wieder zurück zu Wuthering Waves. Wir werden die neue Story von dem neuen Charakter hier nachspielen und gucken, was uns hier so erwarten wird. Wir haben den Charakter ja schon einmal kurz kennengelernt, von einer Weile. Und ja, jetzt ist halt auch ihre Story-Quest da. Die ist auch gerade im Moment selber keiner dabei, aber ob ich sie ziehen werde oder nicht, weiß ich nicht. Kommt drauf an, wie die Story hier vonstatten geht. Geht zu Tutorial Margarete und morgens um 12 Uhr. Ja, da sind wir jetzt ein bisschen falsch. Aber auch nicht so weit falsch. Wir sind um ein paar Stunden zu früh. Okay. Zum Essen gehen. Und den treffen wir uns denn. Das ist ja doch ein bisschen plötzlich hier. Klatter? Die haben wir auch eine Weile nicht mehr gesehen.
Rover, fancy running into you here. Won't you dine with me? Miss Margarita asked me to sample her newest pizza. But my goodness, these portions.
Ja, ob das so zufällig war, das weiß ich nicht. Ich glaube nicht.
Did you hear what the Order's acolytes found while clearing the abandoned library? A manuscript of a poem with an accompanying music sheet. The public has already caught wind of its contents. Did you know it was signed as Golden Anthem? They say it was their last work, written aboard the Pilgrim's Sail. I reckon the original finder fished it out the sea and put it in the library, not knowing what it was.
War das nicht auch noch war da nicht gerade der Typ von den Frexodus? Den haben wir auch lange Zeit nicht mehr in der Story gesehen. Wundert mich, dass er jetzt in einer Charakterstory vorkommt.
Shh, quiet. They're criminals. Best not mention them in public.
Shh. That name is not to be spoken of in Raguna.
Wie Voldemort.
Simply put, the Golden Anthem was once a renowned poets' society. Their 3 members were once the Sentinel's cantors, but the Order banished them for insulting the divinity. Allegedly, their pilgrim sail caught fire and none on board survived, and thus their last known work disappeared.
Well, since the manuscript is no longer secret, how does the tune sound?
Give me a second. Let me think. Hear that? It's exactly what they're playing now.
Das war knallhart. Aber das muss doch jemand mitbekommen haben, dass der Typ dafür verantwortlich war. Was ist da gerade passiert?
Well, it would appear they were possessed by daemons, just as this very article suggests.
Oder ist das ein anderer? Ich kann mich leider nicht mehr an sein Gesicht erinnern. Aber auf jeden Fall, er hatte so eine ähnliche Kleidung. Oh nee, er ist es. Ach, du schon wieder.
Friends, it's been too long. I gather you were also listening in on that conversation about the Golden Anthem's last...
What did you mean by daemons?
Resentful of the Order's verdict, they committed to paper a curse upon Rinasita and Raguna. Those favored by the divinity were the most willing to raise the blade of rebellion, for they alone knew how to make divinity bleed and doctrines crumble. Though they died in exile to a great fire, their resentment festered in their music and poetry, transforming into horrors known as like the fire that dragged them to hell. These daemons will spread throughout the land and burn all of Raguna. This article was recently published in the Raguna Literary Journal. Quite the perspective, wouldn't you say? Vengeance born of resentment. Such dark and twisted characters are... Perhaps someone unwittingly played that tune just now and opened the plushies to possession by the daemons. Then again, it's all conjecture. Those in the Poets' Society died years ago. And who's to say what really happened? Now, if those vengeful spirits really do exist, well, out of all the patrons here, they went straight for you. By the way, it just so happens that I made a copy of the Poets' Society's last work. Here, take it. Consider it a little souvenir from your spirited encounter. Goodbye, friends. A change of venue is in order. I must finish my play.
Offensichtlich war er dafür verantwortlich. Und wie gesagt, dazu hier habe ich keine Lust, das durchzulesen. Stoppt ruhig, wenn ihr wollt.
Like the fire that dragged them to hell, these daemons will spread throughout the land and burn all of Raguna.
Das Wichtigste lesen die sowieso vor. Wird das wirklich passieren?
Unverifiable, yes, but not entirely dismissible. That said, a peculiar entity did indeed manifest, and it attacked you. So, let's start at the very beginning. I have a friend who's an expert in deciphering music. I believe you've met her before.
Ja, schon einmal. War auch nur sehr kurz.
She who resembles Topaz should still be near Whisperwind Haven at this hour.
Okay. Na gut, dann gehen wir direkt zu ihr. Genesita, die goldene Symphonie. Finde Topaz. Sie hieß Topaz? Wie der Charakter aus, Honkai Star Rail? Die hieß doch anders, oder nicht? Aber Moment mal, das muss ich jetzt wissen. Ist das jetzt die Character Story oder ist das jetzt Teil der Haupthandlung? Da bin ich jetzt ein bisschen verwirrt. Muss ich jetzt hier bei Quest gucken? Event Quest. Es ist eine Event Quest. Also, findet Topaz. Okay, das ist interessant. Das ist doch nicht mal eine Charakterstory, okay. Alles klar. Ja, dann kümmern wir uns um die Event Quest. Kommt Topaz also ein eigenes
In
Event?
Hellworld, poetry and music hold equal sway. Shh. Listen carefully.
Strum my strings for the endless dance of time. To fly is not to flee, but to journey towards the dreams. All the hopes will set us free from doubts and fears deep within. Let the sunrise gild our wings, let the twilight soothe our
I like the song to
In
find
the
her.
sky we're forever wild and free.
Ich meine, mit Cutscenes sind sie ja immer krass, wa?
Rover! Carlotta! It's been too long.
Aber dass sie sich für eine Event-Quest so viel Mühe für die Cutscene gegeben haben, was wahrscheinlich nur temporär zur Verfügung gestellt wird, das finde ich schon sehr krass.
You really must adore that song. I remember hearing you sing it when I was little.
Aber da wird sie ja wohl auch klein gewesen sein. Ihr kanntet euch schon als Kinder? Die wird jetzt wie sie gerade
When I was a
vorsichtig-
child, whenever I passed by Chacona's house, I'd always hear music drifting from the courtyard. Lively, spirited, and so full of emotion.
I remember it well. Those two guards of yours were like giants from Septimont. Easily 200 pounds of pure muscle.
Ja, hab ich mir doch gedacht, dass sie nicht Topaz hieß. Chacona. Die hatte doch einen anderen Namen.
Back then, Chacona's family conducted the Order's choir.
Also an Topaz hätte ich mich wahrscheinlich erinnert. Warum ist Glückwunsch?
How should I put it? Well, as they say, families are always rising and falling. But a song is a song, whether sung in a grand hall or beneath the open sky. As for family matters, let the past stay where it belongs. Anyway, the two of you came in such a hurry. I suppose you're not here to take in the music?
Nicht ganz.
Oh, so you eavesdropped on a man rambling on in C3 Sharp, and then, poof, out pops a monster.
Wir fallen übrigens erst jetzt ihre Männer auf. Aber sie sehen hübscher aus als Sammys-Söhne. Du verstehst nicht, worum es geht. Ich würde es jetzt früh über.
It is the point. I need to know what kind of music could possibly have the power to conjure up those monsters of yours.
Wer weiß das schon?
The Golden Anthem. That name should never be spoken. They're criminals. To conspire with them is to risk banishment at sea. Or worse.
Kein Problem. In der Tiefe kann uns überhaupt nichts an.
Don't worry. This won't be the first time we've crossed paths with the Order.
Fine. From what you've told me, the composers of this poem cursed Rinasita, spelling the fall of Raguna.
Ach, schon wieder den Untergang von Raguna.
When the poem is played, some type of horror appears. If I understand correctly, that's what attacked you and Carlotta.
Ja, hauptsächlich nicht.
If you ask me, this story is a right load of codswallop. I don't believe a simple little poem could curse Rinasita.
Then you...
We need to get to the heart of this poem and music mystery. Let me join you. I can't resist a good adventure. I'll help you find the link between the music and those daemons. But in return, I want you to hand these pages to me for safekeeping.
Okay, es sind doch nur ein paar Blätter Papier.
Then we have a deal. Since you believe this music summons them, how about we test it for ourselves? I've already memorized the sheet music.
It's risky, but there's no surer way to find out. Wouldn't you agree, Rover?
Sehen, ist klar. Ich bin gut vorbereitet. Ich bin kampfbereit.
The final work of poets banished to distant seas and condemned to death. What, I wonder, did the verses forged in flames truly sing of?
In dieser Quest auf sich, das sieht ja richtig geil aus.
They are just like the ones that attacked us in the restaurant.
Sieh mal. Cool, sag mal. Wie sie sich so spielt. Eigentlich so ziemlich fast wie jeder andere. Wir haben sogar noch Flash dabei, aber ich muss erstmal unsere Neuling hier.
The trio of destiny.
Schade, die Ulti konnten wir jetzt nicht ausreizen. Aber die Beleuchtung der Cutscenes, die ist doch anders als sonst. Die Farbgebung ist ganz anders. Vorsicht!
They burn in despair, resentful of the Order's verdict, till their last breath. Their last work is nothing but a curse upon us all. With our bodies to fuel the fire, the ensuing furnace shall forge Raguna's true gold. Is it saying Raguna will burn to the ground?
They wanted their resentment to echo through the streets. Just by reading this, I can almost see their terrifying faces in the fire.
These voices. They're people of Raguna, aren't they? I think I heard Mr. C3 Sharp in the mix.
If the poet's resentful souls gave birth to daemons, then shouldn't they sound like the poets? Those voices were just people who read or heard their work.
Perhaps the voices themselves are what causes the daemons to manifest. In the legends, daemons are born of death and curses. But what we've seen isn't like that, no. They're more like horrors created from people's words and imagination. Of course, I'm just speculating. The voices were somewhat muddled. Perhaps I can refine the melody. This time, we need to listen harder. Let's find out what the true story really is.
Dazu. Der du mit dem Schirk es formen sich die Kerne der Mond zu einer neuen Welt. Von dort aus wirst du die Wahrheit über ihren Ursprung Spiele die Geschichte mit Hilfe der
This is a realm created from melodies. Music can transcend space and time to bring memories and stories to life.
Ist nur kein gewöhnliches.
No. Normally, you can't perceive the frequencies in a melody. But that manuscript lets you see the world as I do. That part with the daemons...
They burn in despair, resentful of the Order's verdict, till their last breath. Their last work is nothing but a curse upon us all.
It's the same as what we heard before, but now I see something. A balance scale with a crowd of people standing on one of the pans. What are they weighing?
The two sides of the scale represent differing perspectives. Once a work is made public, its meaning no longer belongs to its creator alone, but is shaped by the interpretations of its readers. Or perhaps it was a simple poem at first, nothing more. But then that article claimed it was a curse upon Raguna. Given that members of no one knew exactly what happened, so they filled in the gaps with their imaginations. With motive and a complete story. Perhaps that's all it took for a lie to become the truth. Each time someone plays their last work, it summons daemons. This is the Golden Anthem's revenge and curse upon Raguna. But still, words and imagination alone cannot bring something into existence. Yes, someone must have used them to create the daemons. What if the mastermind pulling the strings from the shadows is the author of that article? Daemons are bound to their creator, so it might not be a coincidence you felt them target you at the restaurant. There could be a connection between you and this mastermind. Or perhaps they have their own reasons for wanting to see you silenced.
Wähle diese Option zu sehen, wie sie die Geschichte behandelt. Während diese Demonstration
Imagination knows no bounds. If left unchecked, such incidents will only increase. For resonators, dealing with them isn't much of a challenge. But for ordinary folk, it's enough to spark panic across the city. Finding the one pulling the strings should be our priority.
Okay. Am 3. Jänner. Die Fantasie kennt keine Grenzen. Es fehlen noch Schlüsselinformationen für das wahre Ende. Das muss noch einmal versuchen. Okay. Wir haben jetzt hier eine Berührung bekommen. Wenn das passiert, dann haben wir Geschichten wiederholen. Ganz wichtig für Inhalt. Nehmen wir mal das hier. Inspiration 1. Verwende Inspiration in der Option zu erfüllen. Jeden Tag stellen sich die Inspirationen und Grenzen wieder her, der für das Freiheitsschutz oder Option verwendet wird. Okay. Also es ist mehr oder weniger nur ein Minispiel. Wie können wir diesen Draht ziehen? Der könnte man.
Maybe because you went to Avenolium and uncovered some of the truth the Order is desperate to hide. It will take a lot more than that to even leave a scratch on you. Perhaps they're having someone else do their dirty work. That just makes finding the one pulling the strings a top priority.
Das ist doch der Fachmann immer sagt, das ist völliger Anfrage. Es ist wichtiger, denjenigen zu finden, der dafür verantwortlich ist. Ja, das ist der Typ mit der lustigen Mütze. Gut. Ja, wir haben ja nochmal. So, wiederholen. Wie können wir diesen...
If the daemons are born from the public's imagination, then things will shift once we catch whoever is responsible for starting this in the first place. This mastermind has gone to great lengths to twist the facts, stirring fear and turning it into resentment. Maybe an attempt to cover up certain stories about the Poets Society. He must be tied to them somehow. If we can learn more about the Golden Anthem, we might be one step closer to catching him.
Da haben wir jetzt alle drei.
Music and poetry are born from kindness and hope. Yet now they've been twisted to create these... Whoever is behind this won't just sit back and watch. The thought of confronting them is already inspiring me to write a ballad. What should I call it? Which instruments would fit?
Our enemy hides in the dark, while we remain in the light. If that's the case, we need to split up. With your tenacity and Kona's expertise, we will uncover the truth. Someone has pointed a gun at Cat's Eye. Someone ought to pull back the curtain and expose them. The family has its ways. Tracing the article's source and finding this mastermind won't be a problem.
If we find melodies connected to the Poets Society, I can bring the past into clearer focus. I've got it, Rover! I know a place where they've definitely left their mark. Let's go! Onward to new melodies! I really admire the wind. It's free to go anywhere without restraint. If only it could carry my poems into the hands of everyone across the world.
Was ist hier überhaupt jetzt gerade? Würde ich gerne wissen. Ah, Leute, ich würde den Part dann hier gerne an dieser Stelle. Und ich würde dann erstmal den Ort hier völligerweise verlassen. Weil da ist gerade ein Ding, was ich schnappen möchte. Oh nein. Ich hab's nicht. Ach, ich hab's gerade noch so geschafft. Gott sei Dank. Na gut. Oh, Gott. Ich hab den geknappt. Aber wo müssen wir jetzt hin?
I really admire the wind. It's free to go anywhere without restraint.
Gut, Leute.
If only it could carry my poems into the hands of everyone across the world.
Na gut, Leute. Wie gesagt, dann beende ich den Part nachher hier an dieser Stelle. Und ich würde sagen, wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal. Ich sag dann mal, bis dann. Ciao.